Hello, this is Barking Up the Wrong Tree. I'm the champ. We're here with Master Dog Trainer Dan Hect, extraordinaire. But right now, we'd like to bring out Brent, your buddy, our friend of the show, and we've talked to him a couple times. And let's bring on Brent and see what he has to.
Well, Brent is the Breeders USA Breeder of the Month, and for very good reasons. Brent, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
How you doing, sir?
Good, thanks. How are you guys?
Outstanding.
We're good today.
Hey, we were talking earlier, and you wanted to share some significant genetic traits of labs. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things that's very important to us and to most of our customers is producing a Labrador Retriever that's genetically sound. You know, it's common for our customers to have had Labradors throughout their lives, and along the process, especially very common for them to have had a Labrador with hip dysplasia.
Right.
And that's why a lot of those folks, when the time comes to buy another Labrador Retriever, they decide, this time I'm going to do this right. I'm going to be very deliberate and do my homework. And quite honestly, that's why a lot of veterinarians come to us to buy their own personal Labrador Retrievers, is that we certify our dogs' hips through the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals.
The OFA? Is that what you're talking about?
The OFA, that's right. And I'm thankful to say that in the last 10 years, we've produced a lot of retrievers, but we've only had one case of hip dysplasia in 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
So we've done our due diligence there. We also certify our dogs' elbows through the OFA.
Right.
We certify our dogs' eyes annually through CERF, through the Canine Eye Registration Foundation. And the last few years, we've started adding DNA testing. So we screen our dogs' DNA for progressive retinal atrophy, which is one of the most problematic eye diseases in retrievers. We test our dog's DNA for the gene for exercise-induced collapse, or EIC, and also for central nuclear myopathy, CNM. So these are diseases that we've been able to completely eliminate from our breeding program, and those diseases consequently are very easy for me to guarantee, because it's not possible for a puppy we produce to even carry the gene for the disease.
Yeah, well, tell the audience here why that's important. That's a lot of medical jargon out there, and some people might call and say, "Well, I just want a pet. I don't really care about that stuff." So tell the audience why that's important for them to consider.
Well, first and foremost, when as a breeder, when we produce a puppy, we're very aware, keenly aware that we are investing in somebody's life. We're investing in a family. And that puppy goes home and grows up to be a dog, and he's going to become part of your family. So first and foremost, we're concerned about responsibly breeding and producing dogs that are not going to have painful hip problems, health problems. That's a quality of life issue both for the dog and for the owner.
Right.
Beyond that, there are significant financial concerns. Guys, I can't tell you how many customers I've had who have said, gosh, I've spent on my last dog $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 on vet bills during the course of my dog's life.
Paul, when he was sick,
with all of these issues, and still sometimes they have to put the dog down.
Right.
For those folks, they think, this next time I would far rather spend $1,400, $1,500 up front, buy a dog that's got the deck stacked in their favor genetically, and just forego all that stuff. I don't want to invest in my veterinarian. I want to invest in my dog.
Now, do you do all that there? Do you send these dogs out? Is it done there? It sounds like very detailed what you're doing there.
Yes, for the hip and the elbow certifications, we have to have their hips and their elbows x-rayed by a veterinarian, and they actually x-ray them in a particular way that the OFA wants to see the hips, the elbows presented. And those x-rays are sent in to the Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, where the films are read by 3 veterinary radiologists. They independently grade those films, and then they come up with a consensus report, and they mail you a certificate telling you what the grade of the dog's hips were and whether the elbows passed or failed. For the eyes, that's an annual eye exam that we have to take our dogs into actually a veterinary ophthalmologist, which is a mouthful. You guys would have laughed at us earlier this week. I have 6 kids, but we managed to pack 6 dogs and 2 parents and 4 kids in a Suburban and take them on in to get their eyes renewed at the surf clinic earlier this week. For the DNA testing, we can do all of those DNA tests with swabs, cheek swabs. So we collect cheek cells and we send those in. In fact, particularly for the exercise-induced collapse test, that's witnessed by a veterinarian who himself participates in collecting the cheek cells on the swab, and of course he scans the microchip to validate this is indeed this dog. And those tests get sent into laboratories where the lab, will test the DNA, and they'll come back and tell us if the dog is clear or not.
These dogs have, they get more testing than I did. I mean, I'm going to go to him next time because I think I could get, I can fit in the Suburban, and I got because I'm not well anyway most of the time, but I realize it's a mental thing. See, my Denise here is agreeing with and dancing and saying yes, but I can't help it. I wake up.
Hey, Brent,
stupid.
All this great stuff. We're going to talk about your Puppycam in a second, but for our military listeners out there, you just retired recently, didn't you?
Well, not recently. It's been a few years, but I did retire. I retired as a Navy lieutenant commander.
Wow. That's a significant accomplishment. So you went from pushing a battleship to breeding Labradors. How'd that happen?
Well, that's a good question. When we were in the Navy, obviously we always loved Labrador retrievers, but breeding was not feasible because we were moving all over creation. We lived all over the world. Along the way, we did raise a Labrador retriever for Canine Companions for Independence as puppy raisers.
Oh, wow.
That was just a fantastic family experience for us, and we really enjoyed that. And when the time came to turn that dog in and for him to go on and do his service dog thing, we suddenly were dogless, and that's kind of hard on somebody who loves a lab. And so as soon as we were able to, once we, I retired from the military about 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh, it's
been a
while.
Our first one. And over time, the good thing about this has been that we've been able to, for years, pretty much take all the proceeds of our breeding program and just reinvest it in the dogs.
Dan Retirement Fund?
And that's enabled us.
In my retirement fund? No?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
For the dog. The dog's retirement
fund. The Dan Hect Retirement Fund.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So as we've been able to reinvest in the dogs, we've been able to just continually, really focus on improving the quality of our breeding stock, and
very good.
And we've had a lot of fun.
Great, that sounds great.
Hey, can you tell us about your Puppycam? I've got it up here in the studio, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, so our listeners want to tune in, and they can, let their finger do the walking on the computer. They can see some puppies today.
That's right. Well, if the easiest way probably to get there, if listeners would like to watch, is to first visit our homepage, which is just brookslabradors.com. And if you go to brookslabradors.com, I invite you to look around there, but specifically to see the Puppycam. On the right-hand side of that page, you'll see a button right next to the Facebook icon that says Puppycam. And if you'll click on that, you can see what we're looking at. And basically, this is a UStream video link that we have going pretty much 24/7. We turn it off when we clean the box or whatever, but 24/7, people can tune in. They can see what the puppies are doing. They can see how they're growing. And this has just been something that's been a lot of fun. We get to it's sort of like getting the opportunity to come to our home and watch the puppies like we do.
So you get to, so somebody that's looking for a puppy, they can, or has a deposit on a puppy, can actually look at that puppy until it's ready to go home.
That's right. They can look at the puppy and watch them play and interact. Of course, at this age, this litter that's on the camera right now was just born Monday night. They're just a few days old, and their eyes are closed, so they pretty much just eat and sleep. But
or they
as
can
they
do
get
what
older,
I did.
it gets to be a lot of fun.
Send them a deposit and say, I want that puppy.
There you go.
I want that dog. Now, where's my dog? I don't want that dog. I know you have 30 dogs. I want that dog.
Exactly.
That works. I don't know how that. I mean, he
does work.
He opened a complete new market up to me.
Yeah. So. The market for the crazies.
Yeah. Well, it's fun because as the puppies get older, they play and they interact, and people just really enjoy that. In fact, one of our good friends and customers is the animal nutrition professor at the Texas A&M Vet School, and she tells us whenever we go live on the Puppycam, they put it on the big screen there in one of their faculty lounges while they're eating lunch. Is like a screensaver. So.
Wow. It was good talking to you, Brett, and we will talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Brooks Labradors produces genetically sound, highly trainable Labrador retrievers with a classic build and exceptional temperament. They serve as service dogs, companion dogs, personal gun dogs, and good-looking Labrador retrievers with competitive potential. Brooks Labradors are in such high demand that they are often ordered even before they are conceived. One look and you'll understand why. Just visit BreedersUSA.com and sign up for the newsletter and check out the Puppycam now live on UStream. To order your Brooks Labrador, visit BreedersUSA.com and call 214-506-8140. That's 214-506-8140. Brooks Labradors, true retrievers with a classic build.